Hello everyone, it is LoriBat here, and in today's video I will be making Shrinky Dink keychains based off Littlest Pet Shop. I used to play with Littlest Pet Shop a lot when I was a kid. I had a huge tub full. My mom made me give them away, but luckily I kept some of my favorites, as you could probably see in the video. I got inspired by watching YouTube videos of a lot of Shrinky Dink keychains, and I also was inspired by a channel called IzzyZZZ. I hope I said that right, but she made a really good deep dive into the franchise of Littlest Pet Shop, like going into like even more than I knew about the franchise, and actually had me like looking at my old Littlest Pet Shop online, seeing like how much they're worth nowadays for like first editions and second or whatever. And it is crazy. I didn't even know how much some of my Littlest Pet Shop are worth, but mine probably aren't worth as much because I drew on them a lot as a kid. I was very destructive, but I don't know. I had a lot of fun doing this. I will try and explain as well as I can on how to make Shrinky Dink keychains. I am so new to it. I never did it as a kid. It popped up as a suggestion in my YouTube feed, and I was curious of what Shrinky Dink keychains are, so I watched a few, and I'll try and link some really good videos below on like how to start making them from scratch. But the paper for it is a little expensive. I heard that you can find products if it has, I think, a number 6 with like a recycle thing around it. But I just bought the Shrinky Dink paper in matte form, because there's also a glossy form. So you could buy either matte or glossy, and I chose matte this time. If I ever buy paper again off Amazon, I might be tempted to buy the glossy one, but I just really liked how the matte looked. I bought a lot off Amazon. It was like $20-something for like 50 sheets, so I think that's expensive personally, so I wouldn't suggest this as a project that you could just scrap. If you really want to do Shrinky Dinks, I would suggest like looking into it if that's really what you want. But the nice thing about Shrinky Dinks is once you have the paper, you don't need a ton of materials after that. If you have Sharpies and colored pencils, and scissors and other things will make it easier. To start, I like to, on a blank piece of paper, just sketch out a simple design. Don't go too intricate because it will shrink down in size. I heard that you want to do 3 times the size, and it will definitely shrink. And there are, like, I heard if you put it in the oven, it might shrink horizontally or vertically, like, depending on how you put it in the oven or, like, what direction. And I'll try to link down the video below, but I personally haven't noticed that as too big of an issue. I also see that people print, which is eventually what I want to do, print on the sheets themselves, and then just cut them out with like a Cricut or your hands. But I don't have a printer at the moment, but I am typically a digital artist, and I really want to get a new printer for I could do that kind of stuff. Oh, and that also reminds me, I might do digital art on this channel, so if you have any ideas of like fan art or ideas of like what you think I should draw, I kind of have more of a dark style, but I also have kind of a cartoony style sometimes as well. Kind of versatile, but I wouldn't say I'm the best at all. I'm not like, my commissions aren't open because I'm not confident enough to do commissions. But yeah, back to the Shrinky Dinks. I typically just use color pencils because I heard you can't use acrylic paint. There are paint pens you can use, and I almost think they look better sometimes than the color pencils. But I don't have any of those. Permanent markers also work really well. You might get like a little bit of that Sharpie look to it, so I would go over a couple times if you're worried about the black line art looking a little smudged in some places. You could also take, if you make a mistake, I think it's rubbing alcohol. I used a eraser off a pencil, and it was really hard to draw back on the parts that I used the eraser. Same with, like, if you use colored pencil and you make a mistake, it's hard to fix that mistake. So really think about your design before you start coloring it. Like, think about where exactly you want the colors, because it is a little harder to go back if you're doing colored pencils. I think the paint might be a little easier, the paint pens, but they're more expensive. I've looked them up online, and at Amazon they're like $60 for like a few pens. Not really, but like they are expensive. I don't like to spend money on expensive materials if I'm not sure I'm going to do a lot with them. So if I keep doing Shrinky Dink keychains, I might try those out. Let me know if you'd like to see like other products used. And as you could probably see, I will be showing you some of my Littlest Pets that I still have. I still have some more. I just have to find them. I always find them in like the randomest spots. I don't know if you had Littlest Pets or like other toys that are like that, where you find them in the places you least expect. But I used to have a huge tub. My mom made me give it away to my cousin, like I mentioned earlier, when I was younger. And I almost fully regret it, but I just hope that she played with them as much as I did, and not given them away, or I don't know, take off all the heads or something. I don't know. But Littlest Pets were one of, I remember, like, my favorite toys as a kid. I wish I could have got like Legos as a kid. My parents never really bought me Legos because I am a girl, so I don't know. I think that's messed up. But I would get like Polly Pockets, Littlest Pets. I know that there's more toys. I just can't think of like what ones I collected like avidly, like Polly Pockets or Littlest Pets. But with Littlest Pets, I liked them because I could put them on anything kind of that was magnetized. So I would always sneak them to school and like put them in my locker in middle school and hide them. Probably got most of them stolen that way, to be honest. I would take them places, and that's not what you should do if you're a kid with a small toy that you care about, because you're most likely gonna get it stolen or lost. But these toys are so fun. I think that they're one that I would still collect today. If I go thrift store shopping and I so happen to find a Littlest Pet shop, I probably will buy it, just because I like to add to the collection, and especially knowing how much they're worth now. Like, it's almost insane. And I saw online that people even make fake Littlest Pets. So if you really like Littlest Pets, or you're buying one for someone you know, like a friend or cousin or something, make sure that it's like a real Littlest Pet, not a knockoff. Or if it's a knockoff, make sure it's a really cool one. Because yeah, there are a lot of people trying to scam, just kind of like Pokemon cards. I feel like Littlest Pets, like, went up in value like a Pokemon card, especially if you have a Littlest Pet in package. Like, I don't know, it's just insane. But these 3 that I'm drawing are my favorites, like, since I was a child. I have a few others that are my favorites, like ones that my friends given me, or ones that looked like my pets that I just hold dear to my heart. But out of all my Littlest Pets, I would say that these 3 are like my top favorites. Like, they're the ones that when I think of my Littlest Pets, I remember like, oh yeah, I have those ones. The bat one I remember getting when I was a lot younger, and I loved it. It was like, they never had like goth looking ones, and I got, well, I think it's like punk or something considered, and I remember getting that one. And I also had a dog too that was like themed, and it was like themed like a hippie or whatever. I don't know what you call it, but like it had like a bandana, and it was all like had peace signs on it and stuff like that. And I regret getting rid of that one because I don't have that one anymore, and it was one of my favorites, but it was in like a similar set. The fox one, I remember, I almost swear I got this one from a friend, but it could have been that whenever she would come over, she'd play with that one, but I swear. And so whenever I see the fox one, I associate that one with one of my like childhood friends, and so of course it's going to be like one of my favorites. And the pug one, with a little bit of like a splatter on its like side, I think is so cute. It was like one of my probably last ones that I bought. I was getting older, and I still love toys. Like, I think toys are so cute. I sometimes buy Yokai Watch. Yes, I am that person. I love Yokai Watch, and I love Pokemon. And if I see like a collector's thing, like at thrift store especially, I am a thrift store shopper, but if I see like something really cheap that like I know I love the franchise, then I will probably buy it. If it's Pokemon, Yokai Watch, now even Littlest Pet, there's a few like, or Star Wars or something like that. Legos. If you find Legos at a thrift store, you're lucky. But the pug I remember loving. It was like one of the last ones that I purchased as a kid, and I would save my money up like for what seemed like years, but it was probably only like days, like doing recycling cans. That's how I used to make money, is like I'd collect recycle them, get like 5 cents like off each can, and hopefully by like the end of the month I'll have enough for a Littlest Pet shop. But the pug is a little bit different. I don't know if you can tell, but he has like glass looking eyes. I don't know if it's actual glass, but they stand out, and I've never seen another Littlest Pet shop like that. Like, I'm sure there is more like that, but I looked up Pug Littlest Pet shop online, and there's only one that I saw, well, I mean, which is the one I have, that has the glass eyes. The rest of the pugs don't really have the glass eyes, and they're not as cute, in my opinion. But the little pug came with like a little poop when I got him, and I just thought that was the cutest thing. I wish I still had like it in its full packaging, like all of mine. I wish they're all in the full packaging, but if I had it like that, I wouldn't have played with them as a kid, and probably wouldn't have had as much fun. But I don't know. And just in case any of you were wondering if I watched the Littlest Pet Shop show, I actually didn't. I wasn't too much of a fan of how the style of the human characters looked, so I didn't really like watch that when I was younger, or like now or anything. But other than like physical Littlest Pet Shop, I did have like other collector things when I was younger. I don't have them anymore, but I used to collect Littlest Pet Shop trading cards. I don't I don't know if like they make those at all anymore. But I also used to have coloring books that like came with like stickers. And then I also actually was a fan of the games. I actually had a few of the games on the 3D, or not 3DS, on the DS. I think I only had two. But they're actually kind of fun. Like you could dress up the pet. Like if you're like a younger kid right now, like at my age of 22, I don't know if I would have as much fun playing it, but I haven't played it in such a long time. I think I actually give that game to my cousin as well, but I had the one with the polar bear on the front. I actually have that polar bear. Might have came with the game, I'm not sure. But yeah, I actually really liked that game, so I would give that a positive review for like franchises that expand into different mediums. Their games were pretty good. Don't know about the show. I can't really like say for certain like if it's good or not. Like I wasn't a fan of like the art style, so it was hard for me to watch it. But I'm sure that there's like people out there who are like diehards for it. I feel like every show has like a fan base. It could be bigger or smaller. But yeah, Littlest Pet Shop were really big for the time. I also had like a backpack too. I'm sorry, I'm like remembering everything I owned that had a Littlest Pet Shop. But I had like posters, and I had a backpack, and like you could see through it. I think it had a monkey on it, if I'm like remembering correctly. Like maybe if I could find a picture, I'll like put it in the video of what it looked like. Okay, I thought I should probably talk a little bit more about the Shrinky Dinks now that I've basically like finished coloring them. And now what you'll do is, if you're making Shrinky Dinks, you'd want to like either cut a border, like with the mat, it'll like give you kind of like a white border around, or if it's glossy, it'd kind of be like clear. Or you could cut like straight up to the Littlest Pet or like whatever you're making itself, like the outline. You don't have to give it a border if you don't want to. But what I suggest, if you do want to make this into a charm and be able to like wear it as like a necklace, keychain, earrings, whatever, get a hole puncher. I just honestly bought this from a thrift store. I know I talk about thrift stores a lot, but you could also get like a Shrinky Dink set online that comes with a hole punch, because if you don't hole punch it before you put it in the oven, it's almost impossible unless you have like a tiny little hand drill, and even those don't work very well, to make a hole in it. So I thought I would warn you guys before. And if you are a child, please do not do this alone. Have parents like watching you, or like someone watching you who's older. Don't do this by yourself. And if you're going to take it an extra step, how I did, I put UV resin, which like resin casting, it's not for kids. There are other ways to make like a dome effect over your Shrinky Dink. I've heard people use like Mod Podge, which is still like, I wouldn't do that unless you have like a parent or like a guardian, someone watching over you to help you out with that. But another one is, I saw some girls using regular Elmer's glue, and I'm going to link that video down below, because I feel like that's the most kid-friendly way of making Shrinky Dinks that like have a little bit of like a topping so you can't scratch off the colored pencil. But if you do have an adult or someone responsible around to help you with the UV resin, wear gloves. You do not want the UV resin or like any kind of resin touching your hands. It's very bad for you. You do not also want to get it like in your eyes, your hair, anywhere like that. So gloves, number 1. Number 2, wear a mask. And I'm not just talking like a thin mask, like one of those industrial masks are the best. If you're gonna do it inside, make sure it's very ventilated inside. You don't want, especially if you have, like, don't be doing this like around babies or pets, because you just don't want them breathing in that air. They don't have a mask on, you do. So do it in a well-ventilated area. I wouldn't suggest doing this outside unless it's not a windy day, it's not too bright out. But if you're using UV resin, once you go, I've already made this mistake, so I'm telling you, once you use UV resin outside in the sunlight, it will dry up faster than you could almost believe. I was typically working with regular resin, and I wasn't used to it drying that fast, especially like in sunlight. And the UV dries so fast if you have real UV resin. You could also, like me, I used a nail, it's not like a dryer, but like, it's like a UV nail lamp. That is perfect for if you have small charms like how I'm doing, and if you want to do it inside. With some of these, since it's the summertime, I would just put them outside, and then do another coat on the other side, and then leave that outside for like another 10 minutes. If you think it's dry, still wear gloves. It could still be wet. You don't want it touching your skin. One thing I will say I kind of do regret is painting the back of the pug blue, just because I'm not too much of a fan of when I shine it in the light, you can kind of see the blue through it. When I was painting on it, I didn't think about it. As I say, I am new to making Shrinky Dinks, and it doesn't look bad. Like, you can't see the blue shine through unless it's in the sunlight, so that's good, but it still kind of takes away. The bat I didn't notice as much, but I would say keep to lighter colors if you're going to do it on the back, because when you shine it in the light, it will be like, you'll be able to see through it. But yeah, I think that's my only advice of the moment. Once the UV is all like dry, the UV resin, that's when you could add the keychains. And you want to be careful also, like when you're using the UV resin, that you don't get it in the hole of the keychain, or if you do, make sure you have a small enough drill that you won't break the keychain that you're working on, like a little hand drill. And yeah, I really like them as keychains personally. I made the small little charms to go along with it. The only one that doesn't make sense with the charm, I can say, is the fox with the bone. I didn't think about it when I was drawing, and then, yeah, I noticed it afterwards, so, yeah, that keychain might be a little off, but still pretty cute. Yeah, but let me know how you guys think these came out. I did a whole bunch more, but I wanted to only show the Littlest Pet Shop ones, so I make the video kind of more cohesive. But yeah, do you think that I should do more Shrinky Dink videos in the future? If you don't, let me know what I should make my videos on. I only want to like kind of do more like art related videos to start my channel off, because I'm not confident with doing anything else. But yeah, let me know what you think I should do next. If you want to see my digital art style, check out my Twitter. I'll leave like videos in the description of like Shrinky Dink ideas and stuff. And yeah, please like, comment, subscribe. It all helps my channel. I don't have any subscribers at the moment. This is my first video, so anything will help. Yeah, bye-bye.